how British and American autumns are very different. Decided to check this out. Before we do, appreciate if you guys can hit that subscribe button and let's see what we got.
Hello, it's autumn in America and I have lived through 17 of these now.
Okay.
And my team thought it would be a
lot.
good idea to ask you lot to submit questions to me about my experiences with American fall. I have to confess, I haven't read any of these questions in advance, so what I say will be from the top of my head, which is always a recipe for both disaster and hilarity. And if those are two things that you like and you haven't had a chance to subscribe to this channel, do that now. In the meantime, let's take a look at some questions. All right, the first question comes from Barb P8618, who asks, do people in England decorate their homes for Halloween and fall?
Right, this is interesting because like some do, but not a lot.
And my honest answer to that is, I don't remember. I don't think we tend to go all out on things.
Hey, look, that's a bad look, man. If he doesn't remember at all, then that is a bad look indeed. There's not much to remember.
Like that. In my street, in Chicago, where I live, just about every other house has at least something on, whether it's just a basic spider web,
that's not like that here.
An entire garden devoted to monsters and skeletons that scare my dog. And it's like I was saying to my hairdresser.
Every other house. You're lucky to get a house on a street in the UK decorated.
Earlier today, that while Halloween historically originated in Scotland, many of the present day traditions that we all take part in originated right here.
In America.
Not in Lincoln Park, but in America.
Yeah, but like you guys, like you Americans, you guys go big on literally every celebration. Like you do,
so
I love that.
It just feels like even to this day, America has a bigger stake in going all over the top with it.
Go all out.
The other thing is, in Britain, our houses are old enough that they look like they're from some sort of horror story. So we don't really have to do anything like that. Neil?
What, are you saying we don't have to decorate because our houses are already terrifying? Wow.
Simri3481 asks, why are there women in America named Autumn but none named Fall?
You know, you don't know. There might be some people called Fall. Let me know in the comments if you guys are called Fall.
I've not had a chance to think that question through, Neil, but I would imagine that there are all manner of complications with calling your daughter Fall, especially if your last name is Down. Plus, in the fall-autumn debate, I think that autumn is a more beautiful word, whereas fall is a more functional word.
Right, okay.
Do you want to call your kids something functional? I think in general, in America, you have people who...
Yeah, listen. Hey, if your surname is Down, do not call your kid Fall. That's not a good idea.
Names that are seasons. Autumn, summer, winter. You knew somebody called Winter, didn't you, Tara? So
okay, yeah, I know someone called Winter.
Many people called Spring.
Well, I don't know of them, but I've heard of somebody online called Winter.
This one comes from the esteemed Rockin' Stacey, who's
fall comfort food, US versus England. Do we even have like seasonal food? Like our food we just eat like all year round. Like we have like Christmas time food where it's like pigs in blankets and stuff, but I don't really think of like any food just to be like fall specific.
Says fall comfort food, US versus England. You know, it's a hard question to answer that because when I think of autumn in the UK, I don't really think of it as this like special time like you do here. So assigning foods to that particular period is quite difficult in my head.
That's what I'm
sure
saying.
There are some, but here in the UK,
no, that's what I'm saying. So like we don't really like have foods for the seasons. It's just like, you know, you just eat what you want to eat.
US, it's things like chili, innit?
Oh, really?
You know, Americans, especially here in the Midwest, we love a good chili. In Britain, though, I mean, what do we go for? I suppose, you know, a warm apple cider. But when I say apple cider, I'm not necessarily meaning what you refer to as apple cider, a non-alcoholic drink. And also, cider's not a food, so that's not...
cider in the UK is alcoholic.
Thankfully, despite giving up alcohol during the pandemic, I still drink one of my favourite hangover cures, coffee. That's why I'm thrilled to be partnering once again with
Coffee's great.
With D. That's
Coffee's so good.
drinktrade.com/LITP to get half off your first month. Dwight Clough asks, what
is your favourite autumn tree? Not a UK one, that's for sure. Autumn trees in the UK, like they're just dead trees. Like they're not dead. They're even like brown rotted leaves or just They ain't no leaves.
What is your favourite autumn tree? And that is a hard one to decide. I think at this very moment, it's the tree behind me,
That's
the orange
cute.
one. And this sort of orange that you see right there is very indicative of the kind of colours you see, not just here in Chicago.
Yeah, that's beautiful. You don't, yeah, our trees don't get like this. That is so vibrant.
But across much of the northern United States at this time of year, I just think there's a greater vibrancy to the fall colours of American trees. And to give you a favourite one would be hard. Right now it is definitely that one. I don't know what kind it is. If you stay right there, I'll go and ask it. So I'll be right back.
He's gonna go.
Sorry, what kind of tree are you?
I'm a sugar maple tree. For hundreds of years, human beings in North America have leveraged me and my kind for maple syrup. I've heard it's yummy, but I wouldn't know because...
Oh, that's where maple syrup comes from?
I'm a tree. Thanks for calling me your favourite tree. You're my second favourite YouTube sensation, behind Coco Melon.
All right, I'm coming back. Hi, squirrel. How are you doing, mate? There's squirrels everywhere.
No. See, a difference between like your squirrels and our squirrels is that yours come up close to you, don't they? Like they're very chill. Ours will not come close to you. They just run away. They don't like humans.
68 says, never forget pumpkin. Everything pumpkin.
See, in the UK, nothing's pumpkin. Like it started, I'm noticing it is coming in a little bit more and more. I'm seeing pumpkin a little bit in like coffee shops and stuff, but yeah, it's only starting.
And it's true. In my last video, I told you that Iowa produces more corn than any state in the nation. Do you know which state produces the most of these? Not these. This is fake, but real pumpkins. The answer, Illinois. The state that I'm currently in. Okay. You won't see many of them being grown here in Chicago itself. They're usually in the kind of rural places. Gloria's right. Pumpkin, being orange, is sort of a natural symbol.
Wait, why did I have like green, like waters on it? Like what's going on with that pumpkin?
For autumn in America, and it serves so many purposes at Halloween, but also beyond.
Ooh,
you know, you create things like pumpkin pie. Americans love those. I don't know that they're quite so popular in Britain. However, pumpkins themselves have, since I left, started taking on more of a role in British autumn life. Gospel girl.
Yeah, like it is becoming more of a thing, but it's not like all there yet.
23AD asks, what is your favourite thing to do at home and how is that different from when you were young? Also, I'm a fairly new subscriber,
okay,
so
interesting.
Hi.
See, this is interesting because he's answering questions Americans ask to British people, and then he's comparing the British and American way. And as a Brit, I get to see him compare the two, so this is cool.
Thing about that, autumns in Chicago are pretty similar temperature-wise to autumns in Britain.
Oh, really?
So
okay.
In that respect, it doesn't differ so much, but what I do to combat that does differ a little bit. Nowadays, in our new house, we actually have a fireplace. When we can be bothered, we actually light with real wood. When we can't be bothered, we just use the fake fireplace. Okay. In Britain, I'd cuddle up.
Yeah, in Britain, we have these bad boys called radiators. You just turn them on. We don't really, like, I don't really know many people that do use their fireplace, and if they do have one, it's probably like a fake electric one
next to the radiator. We have these big metal radiators on our house.
Yeah, we got these in every room.
Sometimes I'd rest my hand on those for so long that I'd burn myself. Anardi7112 asks, will you come and rake my leaves? And I don't have a going rate for that kind of job, but when I first moved to America,
you know what, do it for a video, it'd be fun.
That was my first job at the behest of my parent-in-laws, who paid me a small amount of money, and I hated it. It was a lot of work to do with one rake in a massive backyard. You've got to remember that backyards in this country typically are bigger than backyards in Britain, so the job is just so much greater. And
see, I've seen Americans use these leaf blowers, right? But I still can't understand, like, where do the leaves actually go to? Aren't you just pushing them all to one side? Is that so it's an easier pick? I suppose if you put them all up together, then it's easier to pick up, right? Is that what it is?
It's so much greater, and I just don't...
Or do you just blow it onto next door neighbours and they just deal with it? Like, how does it work?
I think that I was compensated fairly. The leaves that fall on the ground, they're less wet. It just feels like it rains in Britain, and all the leaves just get like all pushed to the side of the road.
Wait, yeah, that's true. So I had a load of leaves in my backyard, and they're just so wet.
Road in one big wet clump. So it's easy to pick them up probably. You just get a shovel and put them in a bin. Here, they're everywhere. I mean, look, you can see them on the ground. So
right, and the more dry, so it's harder.
No, I'm not going to rake your leaves. Tremors fan asks, have you ever tried your hand at leaf peeping?
What's a leaf
And this
peeping?
term is something that I understand to be something that originated in the northeast of the United States, where you basically go on a little tour of that area of the world and look at leaves. I mean, there are worse ways to spend your day.
Oh, is that what it is? You just go around looking at leaves? Oh, see, in autumn, there's no leaves to look at in the UK. They're not very nice. So we don't do, well, not to my knowledge, we don't do leaf peeping here.
They aren't they, I suppose. I like being out in nature. I think it calms me. It brings a smile
It is
to my
calming.
face. Well, at least internally it does. I don't usually show it. And so I think leaf peeping, in the sense that I just described, sounds actually quite nice.
Right.
I haven't officially done it. I've just sort of casually done it, like I'm doing right now. But let me know in the comments if you've ever been leaf peeping, unless it's a euphemism.
Never.
I don't want to know any more.
I've looked at some leaves, but I haven't been leaf peeping.
Asks, does England have a harvest festival similar to US Thanksgiving? And
Harvest Festival?
is it a national holiday?
What, is US Thanksgiving classified as a harvest festival? I thought harvest is like when you chop things down, like you farm, right? You harvest.
Yes and no. Yes, we do have a harvest festival, but it's not a national holiday. It's one of those observances that I think most people in England don't really take part in. And I attended such festivals when I was a kid to bring sort of food and things like that. But it doesn't have the name recognition that Thanksgiving does here. Virtually everybody who is a citizen or resident of this country probably participates in Thanksgiving.
First of all, that food looks amazing. That pie looks insane. What is a harvest festival in the UK? I'm so lost.
Giving in some way.
I'm confused.
But UK Harvest Festival, I mean, it's one of those things you did at school and then forgot about until I moved here. And then I was reminded that the Thanksgiving here was sort of based on our Harvest Festival. I was like, what Harvest Festival? Oh, Harvest Festival. I remember that. I got a gold star one year.
Feels like a rainbow.
I don't know what harvest festival is.
7625 asks, is there a similar thing as leafers or leafing or leaf peeping in England? And
no,
my honest answer
I don't think
is,
so.
I don't think so. This is a phenomenon I only heard of after moving to the US. I think
like I said earlier, our leaves aren't anything special to look at, so I don't think anyone really bothers to do something like that.
the nearest thing that I could think of to that is either bird watching or train spotting. I don't mean the film with Ewan McGregor. I mean the act of going out and looking at trains and getting their numbers because you're that heavily invested as a nerd. I'm a nerd myself. It's just trains are not my
look, we're all a nerd in something. You know what I'm saying? I'm a nerd when it comes to space.
Focal point
Star
when
Wars.
it comes to that. And Evie Beezy.
If you can't tell already, Star Wars figure, Star Wars poster. Where's my arm? I'm looking in the camera and it's like it's weird. But there.
He asks, is flannel plaid a thing in the
no,
UK
it's not.
during autumn?
It's not, no.
Not as much as it is
It's
here
not.
by any stretch. For instance, when
I do like it though. Like I did have a grey flannel shirt and I had it like under a white top. Really, hold up. I think I've got a picture of it here. Let me show you what kind of flannel we wear. Oh no. Oh wait, here it is. Here it is. Here's me from a few years ago. There we go. Look at this. That's my flannel. That's my flannel. A grey flannel. That's the only flannel thing I've ever owned. I really like that top. I don't know where it is though. Maybe I should get a new one. But oh, it kind of looks like hers to be fair, but a little bit lighter. But yeah, no, you don't really see too many people in flannel. Like I know I've had a flannel shirt and I might have seen one or two here and there, but you don't really see them much at all.
Karen Gillan wore flannel in Doctor Who, she looked American, whereas when she met me, she looked starstruck, let's be honest. But the word flannel in the UK, typically speaking, means something else. It means a washcloth. So I think some people might get linguistically confused. But I will say this, I love flannel shirts. In the past 2 years, I've started wearing them. It is my slow march to becoming a Midwesterner. Lil Big Rig W9904 asks, what was Hayrides like in the UK? Well, what you have to remember is that in the UK, that is our primary mode of transport. I'm kidding. We've moved on from those days, thankfully. You know,
Oh, these. Do we even do them? What, tractor ride? I suppose we do, but
I only have vague memories of doing hayrides as a child.
Yeah,
it was, I'm
not
sure,
seen much.
good, you know, from what I can remember. I've also only done one hayride in this country. I fell asleep halfway through because I realised it doesn't get me from A to B anywhere near as quickly as jogging. But I also don't like to jog, so
It's
made up
better.
for that. And finally, ChatGPT has a question for me. And that question is, why do you think Americans are so obsessed with autumn? And I think I have a good answer for this.
Good food, like warm, filling food. Like when you've just been so hot most of the year, you want, you know, you don't really have too much of the nice, warm, comfort foods. Now's the time, right? Is that what it is? More comfortable?
I think, especially here in the northern part of the United States, because our winters are just such a hellscape, this is like our last hurrah. We know what's coming, so let's just enjoy the absolute arse.
Okay, so the winter's that bad. You appreciate the time before it.
Out of this. And it's pretty. Like I said, the colours are nice and people respond well to vibrancy. I must confess, it's my favourite season.
It is very vibrant.
The reason for that is that it's the time of the year in the Midwest that's most like England. And it's like the old saying, you can take the boy out of England, but you can never take England out of the boy unless the boy is the European Union. Well, that was fun, everyone. And until next time.
Yo, very, very, very interesting. Let me know in the comments what's your favourite things to do in fall or to eat in fall. America's very pretty this time of the year. I'm not going to see it in fall. I'm going in December, so I'm going to be there in the winter. Looking forward to being freezing. Can't wait for that. But if you guys enjoyed this, let me know what you think in the comment section. Make sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe for more content. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.